Welcome to the Computer Specialist Repairs YouTube channel. Today we have a customer that has an Alienware Alpha. Basically this is their Steam edition. It's got the Steam button on there. It's a decent little unit, you know. This gets basically 5 yellow flashing lights, which is the battery BIOS being either low or totally bad or unplugged, missing, aka this was working fine, and so we know most likely it's just dead. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to power it on just to kind of show you. So there's the blue light. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it should recycle, and then it will not turn on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to disassemble this unit, replace the battery up. On the description I'll put a link to where you can buy the battery, or if you have any other 3-volt lithium battery laying around. But we're going to get to pulling this apart, and we're going to show you how to start. So one of the first things you naturally want to do is unplug it naturally from the power source. What I'm going to do for a second is show you the tools that you need. So basically it's always good to have the good old magnet or ice cube tray for the screws. You're going to need Phillips, one with a longer head, so the iFixit, believe it or not, will not get the bottom screws out, and you need the bigger tip and the smaller tip, and that's pretty much it. And like I said, if you're gonna buy the BIOS battery, with the plug on it, then you're good. If not, if you're gonna make one, which we'll show you later on in the video, from another one, if you don't feel like ordering one and have one laying around with a different plug, etc., you're gonna need wire cutters and tape. But we'll get with the teardown now. Okay, so what you want to do with this model is you want to lay it upside down, give yourself some room. Once again, highly recommend, this is iFixit project mat. It's basically a magnetic mat. As you see in some of my other videos, ice cube tray will work good, either or. Not necessarily, but it makes it easier. And so first thing I'm going to show you is this is also a dismantle video slash fix, because we got to take the whole thing apart. This is a door. I'm just going to take it off just to show you. In here it doesn't have it, but when you buy this model, it comes with a wireless keyboard and mouse, and basically the USB sender would be in there. So in this machine it doesn't have it, but you can take that out, put the door on off to the side. This is where you need a screwdriver with basically long enough to reach down in here. About medium-sized Phillips head screws are in here, so you want to go. Definitely want a magnetic screwdriver for this. This is where the mat helps out. You can label however you like it, but but definitely a helper. So you basically want to take these all out. There's 4. There's one right here. If it feels like the screws stripping or something like that, that just means you need a bigger screwdriver. They are they're about medium size, but if you have a really small screwdriver, you don't want to strip them, because that'll be very hard to get out of there. So that's those 4 screws there. And now basically what happens on this model is not necessary tool. You can wiggle this back off, but I'm just going to use the plastic pick just to kind of speed it up. But basically you want to go along the bottom here, and at this point it's off, so you're going to go there, and basically the bottom you're going to go pull right up, and like I said, wiggle around till all the clips come off, and it's going to come right up, and that's where the screws were on there. As you see, there's a little broken post on here, so you put this bottom off to the side on there, basically this is the bottom of the laptop. So next you want to do is you want to go and you want to take this screw right here. So this is a hard drive. This has a solid state in it that we upgraded years ago. So it's 1 screw for that solid state screw. once you get the one screw off, you just basically slide that backwards, you know, so it slides back that way. So you're basically going back towards the back of the machine, and then that just lifts out. Let me put it on the side. So as you can see in here, this is actually the BIOS battery, which I'm assuming, because it's using on this location, was replaced before. Like I said, we may have done it. We've worked on this years and years ago, several times. But there's the BIOS battery, but you have to take the whole machine apart to get to the plug and all that. And most likely you're not going to see your BIOS battery. It might be tucked over here. Depends if it's stock or not like that. All right, so at this point, so this is basically the sender, you know, for the wire. Like I said, unless you're replacing this part, you don't need to take this off. You know, we're gonna do that. So what I'm gonna do is, so now this machine was actually worked on before. So we actually, you know, cleaned it prior to this video, just so we can show you. We have to spend half the video. You know, cleaning it out and stuff like that. So you're gonna notice that it's very clean inside. You know, you're gonna notice that, you know, that there, when you open yours, naturally now's a good time to clean it. You know, and you know, you could do the thermal pads and heat sinks, which we also did on here. So at this point, what you're gonna do is you can flip it back over this way, and then you just grab the sides and wiggle it, and it should lift right up. And here you are inside. You get the GPU fan and the CPU fan. So what you want to probably do at this point, in your case, if it's dirty, you want to get the vacuum out and vacuum in here. You know, and then we'll show you how you fully take it apart to clean it. So these two clips right here, there's actually arrows on them showing you. So if you squeeze and lift up, that comes up. Grab the wire harness, wiggle back and forth. Don't yank on these. Try to grab as close as to the plug and wiggle it. If you have a problem, then use, you know, something plastic or something to get in there and help with it. But you want to wiggle it. This model, I've never had a problem. They come right off. And basically, this is the GPU fan. So as you see, we cleaned this already prior to the video because I wanted you to, didn't want to, you know, show you all that. So basically, that's the GPU fan. So we can put that off to the side. Exact same thing for the CPU. So grab the clips, squeeze in, lift up. Once you get up with a wire, grab it down in here. I just grab it and rock it back and forth, pulling up. It should lift up slowly, and that's the CPU fan. You don't have to really remember where these are, because this won't fit on here clip wise and vice versa. So you know. So now we're inside the machine where you can see everything. And once again, vacuum out here if you didn't already. If you wanted to rebuild the thermal pads, we're going to take this thing fully apart, but you know, what we can show you here, basically you take these out. There's 4 thermal pads on here. Like I said, we already did that. I'm going to show you when we take the board out. But you know, replace the 4 thermal pads. You know, recommend Arctic Silver on there. CPU here. No pads, just Arctic Silver. Take it off. Naturally wipe off all the old Arctic Silver, the pads, the residue, and all that. And go there. As you can see, it has 2 sticks of memory. Once again, we upgraded this already. So what I will do is I will zoom in here to show you basically the memories. So there you go. So those are 8 gig PC3L 12800. So basically, you want to use L memory in here. So make sure it has a PCL. This I'm pretty sure this maxes out at 16. I'm not 100% sure on this, but this had 4s originally, and then we upgraded it for the customer years ago to 8s. Probably in a model like this, 16 is, in my eyes, you wouldn't want to put anything much more in there than that. If you're new to working on computer stuff, basically clips slide out. So you grab the clips, slide them backwards, and then the memory will fold up. We'll take the memory out. Same thing, slide it out and out. So basically, you're going this way. So slide them back like that, and the memory should just fold right out. So when you're putting it in, because we're just going to do a dismantle video and not put it back together to show you everything, but when you put it in, same thing, put the bottom one in first naturally, but I'll show you up top this way. You put it in like that, and you just press it down, and you'll hear it clip right in. Make sure it's nice and even right there. So that's the memory on there. Basically you got the wire harness, so this is for the power button and LED lights in the front that you saw were flashing yellow. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna do same thing here. So grab the harnesses. This is the steam control and the hard drive cables on. So you're gonna grab those, wiggle, grab those, wiggle. So there's 3 wires there. So you're gonna basically pull that one out. Sorry, and then this one. So you got 3 wires. 1, 2, 3, right here. So now you got the wireless card. So this to me is always so much putting it in. I don't know if you've ever worked with these things. These things are a pain, but it's got the shield on here to hold these down because they do come off. There's 1 screw. So what I highly recommend, and this doesn't always work, but we're going to try it. Take the 1 screw out, just like the memory. This thing's going to fold up. At this point, try to grab the whole clip and everything. Wiggle the wireless card out and try to leave that all intact. You can put it off to the side. Putting these antennas back on right here are always a pain in the butt. And you can get to everything you need to get in here, unless you're replacing this wireless card is the reason why you're watching this video. But for the most part, you want to go and you want to do that and make sure you leave it off to the side. That's what I'm going to do for that. So now you have 4 motherboard screws. So you got 1 in each. You got 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here. So you're going to pull those out. So just regular screws. You're gonna basically pull these out. Once again, these screws should come out pretty easy, but they may be torqued down pretty good. So make sure you have a decent size Phillips head bit. Get those out, and there you have it. So that's that. There's the clear the BIOS password right here. So 1 and 2 is normal, and then empty there. So if this thing had a password on it, you could pull this out for the BIOS and turn it on, and that would reset it. So that's how you do that. So now that's the motherboard. Then what you want to do too is you got the rear I/O plate, which is these 2 screws here. Same screwdriver bit. You want to take these 2 out. All right, and this is pretty simple. Just wiggle it, and it should come out. Basically you want to pull it towards you and out the bottom. So and be careful, you got these shields here, so you don't want to make sure it comes out. If it fights you, and you can see there's 2 actual clips right there. So usually the rule of thumb with that is it should come right out. And with this there's like a clip right here. So if you press on it, it will help you get it out too. So at that point, if it pull it out, and that's the I/O shield there. So now what you're gonna do is, because there's these latches here, you're gonna grab it and you're gonna lift it out from one side. So you're gonna lift this up, get it up high enough, and then because there's USB ports back here, once you get up at a high enough angle where it's over these 2 side mounts here, you're gonna pull it towards you, and then there it is. So there's the case with the wireless card. We're going to leave right on there. And basically here it is. So here's your BIOS battery. Like I said, no, in your situation, you may have a little one taped here or whatever. So we're going to put one in the description where you can actually buy the BIOS battery. What we did for, once again to speed up this video, this is the replacements in already. So what we did is we have a lot of batteries laying around. To show you how you can test it, if you have a voltmeter, basically get the voltmeter out, and so it'll read 3 volts. Every voltmeter is kind of different. So there, and basically positives on one side, and on the left side of the picture I got here, and there. So if you look, that's 3.2. So if you do yours and you get like 2.8 or 9 or lower, I think the original one here was 1.5. Definitely that. What I would recommend, say it is 3 volts, replace it anyway. What you want to do is you want to pull this plug out, right, and then let it sit, discharge. You can speed up the process, you can hook up the power button and hold the power button so there's no power to it. And then I would replace it anyway. We've had weird instances, not with this machine, but with BIOS is like that in the past, that we just switched the battery out, and the other battery was showing proper voltage. We just it's sometimes it needs to be reset, and then figure you're in here already. But what you're gonna do, like I said, if you buy the battery for this, you put it in here. You want double sided, you could put the battery over here. You want to put it anywhere where there's room. We elongate it over here because the hard drive goes on top, and there's room there, and the wire is long enough. If you're gonna do it like we did, and you don't feel like ordering a battery, and you have batteries laying around, or a friend that has access to battery, basically you just need a 3-volt, lithium, standard BIOS battery. This was out of another laptop. I don't know what we had sitting in a drawer. It was 9 volts. You cut the wires on your dead battery, tape them, solder them, heat shrink, whatever you want to do, and do red and black. Usually what I do is I cut the red longer than the black, and then vice versa on the battery. So when you twist them together, you can tape it up nice and easy. Like I said, this was basically like typical gaming customer of ours. He needs this back like ASAP, so we're shooting this video, but I didn't have time to order a battery. But this is fine. Like I said, make sure you tape it up or heat shrink it, whatever. Heat shrink's the best way to do it. But this was a pretty not such a tight area, so so I felt confident with just the black tape, and it sits in here, it's not be pressed up against anything. So with that being said, but in your case, you would pull this out, put the battery in, and before you double-sided tape, you want to make sure if it reaches over right in this area where we are, but you want to put it where it's going to fit, or naturally exactly where yours came out. So at that point, now it's in there to show you the thermal paste in there. So if you look inside, there's the CPU, so that's got new thermal paste, and then there's the new pads. So we pulled this out while we had it apart. We did it last time we had it too. This right here, which is the chipset, I don't think you ever need to mess with this unless if this is broke or something like that. Then you need to worry about resoldering this down or something like that. But I don't mess with that. The chipset doesn't get too crazy on this particular model too, and leaving this OEM is fine unless you're having an issue with it. But that's that. The BIOS battery is in. I am gonna do, I'm gonna do the put back on this. I think I said I may not, but I'm gonna put that on there just to show. But while you have it apart, like I said, you want to make sure you go and you get any stuff that's dirty on there, clean out. Like I said, this was clean prior. It wasn't too. It was bad. It was fans were bad and stuff like that, but it wasn't. So now to put it back in, make sure you have the BIOS battery down. Same thing. So make sure these wires are all. Make sure the wireless wires, if you left them on there, are there. And basically, what you want to do is, and let me show you this. There's these 2 aluminum ground contact shields right here. So basically, those are made to press down, onto the shields to, for extra grounding. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're underneath those. I'm going to show you, and anybody that does computer repairs a lot that's watching these videos, if they say they didn't do it, they're lying. So basically, when you do that, you want to look in here and make sure that the aluminum, shield isn't down in front of here because you put it underneath there. As you can see, they're still on the top, but you want to check it. You don't want, I've actually in the past put a whole computer back together, and there. So at this point, we're gonna put the motherboard screws back in. So the 4 of them. So anybody that hears that noise and watches our other videos knows what that is. It's our alarm to go try to get a video card. So basically, 4 screws. The little thing that I always do, so as you can see, I didn't tighten any of these down. I put them all in, not even snug, right? The reason why I do that is till all of them are in, because sometimes if you tighten one down and these it wasn't fully centered, you want to get them all in. So that's how I always do. Like I said, everybody has their own little things they like to do, and then once they're all in, then I like to tighten them down. Usually that's a foolproof way to make sure you got it in there right and center. So now, once again, plug the 3 wires back in. What you want to do is you want to, make sure when you plug these into, always check inside there, make sure there's no pins bent. If it feels like it's not going in, check for a bent pin. If you detect it ahead of time, you can save yourself from bending it more. These are made pretty good, so you should have no problem with those. So put those in. So there's our. The other reason why we like the trays and the magnets is you can glance at this and it reminds you, like, so you don't put a whole computer together and forget something on there. So at this point, we can put the memory sticks back in. So once again, 45-degree angle, lower one first, put it in, snap down. 45-degree angle. They only go in one way, so make sure you got the notch on there naturally. Put it in, make sure the gold traces are all the way in, snap it down. Alright, so that's that. So now we're going to do the I/O shield. So now with this, same thing. So you see these clips right here. You know, when you take them off, they make, so you want to make sure they're all there. So a lot of times I'll see videos where people bend these back, you know, totally out of the way so that it doesn't. Don't do that either, because the whole goal of these is to try to get on, you know, to ground, you know, to continue to ground onto the top of these. So what I like to do is, you know, on this model is very simple. Just get it on top there. Make sure they're all up top here, and then wiggle it in, and as you can see. And then before you put any screws in, and you want to push the bottom in, so you want to make sure that that's right there. You know, push down all that, and you want to make sure that, and you want to make sure no shield. So what it would look like, and you know, if you want, maybe for people out there that never seen it before, let me show you what it could do. So I'm gonna do this where I don't damage it, but as you can see right there, like there's a perfect example. So or let me do one where it's fully blocked. But so basically, and I'm not gonna push it down, but if you look in there, see, it would be blocked, and if I pushed it down, it would smush in there, and I don't want to do that. But you basically want to make sure that you don't do that. So the key is to look here. Nice. I built a whole funny story. I built a whole game machine one time, and on a desktop with, you know, full-size desktop, and it was blocking the Ethernet port. So you know, went to put on, you know, load the operating system on there. I realized that I had to take the whole motherboard back apart. So then you put these two screws back in on the plate. Make sure that's on there, and that's good. Alright, so now we're going to put the wireless card back in that we half took out. Like I said, if you fully took it out, you know, make sure that you put the antennas back on, put the plastic piece on where it latches on the left and the back here, and basically that goes in kind of like the memory. You want to put it in a 45-degree angle, and then you want to just lower it down. Don't be alarmed when you lower this down on these models that it doesn't go in straight, or you know, that's fine. You can straighten out once it gets in there. But as you can see, you want to make sure you get the hole lined up and the plastic shroud on there, and you definitely want that plastic on here because those things are known to come out. So make sure, you know, if you dropped it or lost it or something like that, you put it in. If you happen to lose it, not the end of the world, you know, like I said, you know, and there's hot glue and all that, and I'm not a big hot glue fan because if you have to take it off again. But one screw on there goes through the card and the plastic and holds it down. Just snug tight that doesn't have to be super tight. And you want to make sure, just double check that the antennas are in. They are labeled, if you can see on here. This has a regular arrow, and then on this label it has a black arrow, which coincides with each one. You know, there's a whole fight about that with a lot of people, whether it matters, you know. I just do it because it's on there. Yeah, and leave that up to the people that want to fight. I'm sure there's people that can defend both sides of it. So now we're gonna go. So basically, put the fans in. It doesn't matter which order you do. I just happen to grab the CPU fan. So you're gonna stick this down in here first at an angle, and then you're gonna make sure that the clip's on there. Oh, sorry, I got the wrong one. Clip in there, and as you can see, I went to put on, it wasn't even the right one, so you're gonna put in there. So what I recommend is putting the harness in first, so you have more room to work with. So what you want to do is there's a little notch on the end right here. You can see a little cutout in there. Rule of thumb is, you know, people say, how do I know? You know, it usually won't go in the other way, and it should go in very easy like that. So if it doesn't go in, you either have it backwards or retry it again. So once that wire is in there, very, very important. Make sure that's in there, especially with this, because that's gonna be trouble if your fan's not plugged in there. So that was the CPU. So people doing this, the CPU is the bigger heatsink. The GPU, same thing. So you're gonna put it in there. Once again, we're gonna put the harness in first. Same thing, got the notches in there. You know, for people watching this video, yellow wires towards me. I'm gonna put this side in first, and then we lay it on here. And like I said, these fans, there's 3 screws. So this comes out, and if you're gonna clean it professionally, take the fan out, and you can get in there and air compressor and toothbrush and dry wet vac, or you know, get it all out. I highly recommend. These were clogged up, you know, like normally they are. So that's that. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna flip it over, and you'll see what I mean by the BIOS battery on here. The BIOS battery is here, but you have room. So now the hard drive, you want to make sure you have the connector side in here. So the side with the connector on there, you're gonna put over top. So the connectors are here. We're gonna put it over where the connector goes, so it lays on top. Where, so you put this here, this here. Make sure they're over top of these 4 things. So it's covering over there. And where it says push, that's to take it out. You can do the opposite. Now you're gonna push this towards the front of the machine. So this is gonna go this way. Yep. So slide it. Once again, wiggle it. This hole should show fine. If it doesn't go in, back it back out, reset all this. That shouldn't be hard to do. If you have to force it, you can break the SATA connector on there. So be very careful. And it should go no problem. So with that being said, 1 screw here. Now what I recommend at this point is to check your whatever setup you got here. Check for your screws. You should only have these 4 left. If you don't, now's the fast time to replace them. These are over top. You want to make sure this is on nice solid. We didn't have to take that out unless you were replacing that. So that's that. And then also on this side, make sure 1 plug, 2 plug, 2 fans, 1 plug for the front, 2 plugs here. So make sure all your plugs are in so you don't put it back. Your shields are good. So you want to check the port, shield, good. Shield, good, yep. So you want to make sure that's good. So now what we're going to do is, there's 2 ways you can do this, but I'm going to show you the way I like to do it. So now you're going to grab the bottom, and you're going to grab the side where the steam button is, and the steam button is the only side that has the triangle side there. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to go and you're going to flip this, and you're going to go ahead and put the steam button over there, and that's good. So line it up and just squeeze it with your hands, and then flip it back over. And the way you know you have this right is if you look and you see basically that you have everything's nice and flat on here. You shouldn't have anything weird on there. If you do, you have a screw or something stuck in there. So now we're going to grab the top, and the same thing, just get the side where the cutout is for the steam button, which is over here now. We're just going to lay this down, wiggle it, wiggle it, and we put it in there. So now what you want to do is, while you have it like that, grab it, squeeze it with two hands. You're good on it? Yeah, hold on a second. You got to grab it, you got to squeeze it. Make sure you put the clips on there. Squeeze it around. There should hear some clipping noises going like that. Ooh. All right. So now if you look, you should have no crack in there on all 4 sides. So now you're going to put the screws back in. So like I said, you had 4 screws on there. There you go. One, same as before. I like to just put them in snug. Like I said, you don't even have to be snug, just a few turns just to get them in there. These should go right in, no problem, but you never know. So when you get to the last one, then you can torque that down. These, like I said, you just do them tight enough. You don't be careful, they're on plastic mounts, so kind of like the laptop setup have. Okay, and now, last but not least, the door. If you have your USB thing, slide it in here for the wireless keyboard. Like I said, this setup doesn't have that no more. So you put that in like that. So it goes left side in, snaps down, and then let's see. After all that, Let's get the power cord. Make sure it's plugged in. You should have a blue ring on there if you have the standard one there. Plug it in. And there's our blue light. And if everything's right, 2, 3, 4. Let's see something. Hold on. Well, that's crazy. I see sometimes it'll do that because it needs to cycle through. So, but there it is. And you know, if we hook this up to a screen right now, it would be say come up to like a default BIOS thing, and then you just go in there and save, and you should be back up and running. So so there you have it. Lights are going. So I decided to hook up to the capture card. So when you turn it on now, you're gonna get this screen here where it says RTC is reset. You want to hook a keyboard up here. You want to hit F2 to go into the setup utility. And this is because the BIOS, you know, lost its there. So when you're in here, you definitely want to set the system time and date. As you can see, it went back to default when this machine was made. If you don't set that properly, you can cause all kinds of errors and stuff in Windows because you know, for certificates, and you might not be able to get online or on your Wi-Fi. So you definitely want to go in here and set that. Everything else I would leave default unless you had something that you currently liked. And you want to make sure you go over when you're all set. You know, put in the, I'm going to show you on here. So basically, if you're new to a BIOS, you're going to put in the time. So go here, type in the numbers, hit enter. Type in the numbers, hit enter. Seconds you don't need to worry about. Same thing with the date. So you want to set the time. This particular BIOS is military, so if it's 4 p.m. you want to set it to 16, and vice versa. If it's AM, you want to just use 4 a.m. Same thing with the date. You're going to put in the month, enter, 2-digit. You know, so on there it would be 03, enter, year 4 digits, 2022, enter. Basically, when you're all done, it's like that. It's a little tricky if you've never done it before. You know, when you've done it for 20 years, it's harder to explain than it is to do it. A lot of the other stuff you shouldn't really have to change unless you had something oddball in there. If it doesn't boot for some reason, it's probably your UEFI settings. Then you're going to want to go to exit there and save. If you did everything right, you should get the Alienware logo with the swirling Windows boot up, and there's the customer's desktop. So that's it. You know, for the second time, sub us. We'll sub you back. Any comments? We like criticism. Just be nice about it. And till next video, there it is though. Your Alienware Alpha. If you're getting the flashes, it should be fixed now.